Hello, parents, and welcome to this free webinar for dance parents who want to heal their dancers' injuries faster, easier, and in a more natural way. So, what we're not going to talk about in this webinar is just the conventional approach to treating injuries. That is not my expertise. I'm not licensed to do that. So, please, if you have any questions about conventional ways of treating your dancer's injury, I'm going to encourage you to go straight to your primary care provider or to emergency room, wherever you need to go, because this is not what this webinar is about. This webinar is about holistic approach to healing. So let me just talk about what exactly is holistic approach, because there seems to be a lot of actually wrong information out there. So if you type holistic healing, you are likely to get things like alternative medicine treatments, and you'll get pictures of Reiki treatments and essential oils and all those things, which are actually all part of the holistic healing spectrum. But the spectrum is so wide, and it actually includes not only those alternative methods, but by definition, holistic means all encompassing, which means we are including everything that has to do with healing and with medicine into this process. That includes conventional medicine, that includes going to a physician to get an x-ray to see what's going on with your injury, or to do any other imaging tests that your provider will decide is necessary. And then it also includes approaches that are not so usual, not so common anymore. They used to be common thousands of years ago, but they've been forgotten. And now they're being reclaimed again as something that is actually of more got a more healing power than general approaches that we've been used to for the past 100 years. So, a little bit about me. If you don't know me yet, my name is Karina, and I've been a holistic parent for just a little bit more than 14 years. And I've been a holistic dance mom for the past about 8 years. And I have background in medicine as well as 20 years of experience in clinical and holistic health from a variety of different approaches. I went to medical school for a couple of years until I realized that I was not going to become a holistic healer that I was seeking to be, that the approaches that were taught in medical school were way too linear and too non-encompassing, that I pivoted and I've done more research in alternative medicine and talked to a lot of different, not just providers, but true experts in their field. And I have come to a lot of conclusions, and not just opinions, but true realizations that I have put together for you so that you wouldn't have to spend also decades searching that out. Because let's face it, when your dancer has an injury, the time is of the essence, and you really have to get that proper healing started soon. So, why am I talking about this? So, I've had quite a journey when it came to really coming up with this information here for you. And it actually started quite some time ago, when I had my own fractures that I had healed holistically. And then my mom had a massive, massive traumatic injury that broke her leg in multiple places, required some extensive knee replacement surgery. But within 7 days, we brought her inflammation down. We've helped her heal. And she was not a young woman when that happened. And that all happened during COVID. So you can imagine all the stress of that. And then a few years after that, my daughter, who's a dancer, had an injury that could technically put her out of dance career for good. However, because I already had these skills and I had this information, we put it to real test. So this is what really happened. She was practicing for an audition for a big show for her. And she dropped her foot on something really hard that literally snapped her toe in half. And you could see that right in there. I mean, the toe was off. And granted, it stayed within the skin, thankfully. So we, of course, did what we always do when there's an issue. We took a deep breath. We took some anti-inflammatory supplements, and we went to an urgent care, an emergency room later to see how bad it really was. Was it just dislocated? But my eye could see that it was way more than dislocation. So when we saw that it was a really bad break, we ended up going to the best in our area that required quite some driving to an emergency room to ensure that conventional medicine did its best and put her toe back together in as best of an alignment as possible. So when we did that, just about 2 weeks after that, we took another x-ray, which is not actually on this slide, but we went to our chiropractor, which is part of the holistic dancer and holistic healing kind of process as well, but not the one that we're going to discuss here because it's a whole modality of its own. But when we went to our chiropractor, we took another x-ray just to make sure that things were still healing well. So again, x-ray is kind of part of the conventional medicine approach, right? So I don't have x-ray vision. I mean, if you have an x-ray vision, by all means, but I don't know anybody who does. So we go to conventional places, conventional medicine places, to see what is going on inside the body from the imaging perspective. So the chiropractor has approved that the alignment was happening well. So we let the body to continue heal. And then in just about 5 weeks, just a little bit under, we went to a podiatrist, which is, again, it is more of a conventional approach, but a more specified, right? We didn't just go to our general practitioner to ask them general information. We asked a podiatrist who was able to tell us, hey, this is what the bone now looks like. And it is actually 85% heal at the 5 weeks mark. And then in just a few weeks after that, she was completely healed. So how do we do this? I mean, yes, we went to the conventional places, but only to see what was happening, to gather enough information. But the healing process took holistically. So let's talk about this in more detail. Why holistic healing really is truly better and more important in healing, and what conventional systems don't tell you. Now, of course, there's only so many things I can tell you in this relatively short webinar, but this is something to get you to start thinking about these things in slightly different ways, because somehow we've been programmed that healing is this external process, that someone outside of ourselves has to come in and do something in order for our bodies to know how to heal. Well, let me slightly challenge that. So just think back to the last time that you had a cut. And I mean, granted, like, I'm not asking, like, when was the last time you cut off your finger or something? No, but just a cut, like a paper cut or something. Did you have to tell your body to send blood to the area to clot the blood in that area, or to form a scab or anything? Did you have to tell your body to do that? No, your body knew how to do that by itself. Well, it's no different for any other healing processes within our bodies. I mean, you don't have to tell your heart to beat. You don't have to tell your brain to send very specific type of chemical signals all over your body to keep your body going. All you have to do is provide the proper environment outside and inside to allow your body to heal and to do what it needs to do. Okay, so the example actually is this other thing about what conventional systems don't tell you. And that is, one of those things is that actually the non-steroidal medications that they give you for pain, like Tylenol and those kinds of things, they actually prevent you from healing faster. So, and yet you get those offered to you like candy when you go to the store, to the doctor, in addition to actual candy as well. And that is something that is very strange to me, because there's been a lot of research done. And if you don't believe me, please go and find that information on PubMed, and I can link it out after my presentation if you're so interested. But there is a lot of research on how much these kind of anti-inflammatories that have been prescribed forever for injuries is actually not allowing your body to heal properly. And that is because there are different kinds of receptors that are being blocked by those chemical medications that don't allow the body to actually do what it's supposed to be doing. So that's one of the examples of how some form of medicine is really not giving us all the information about this. And so why would we take just one approach instead of looking at healing as a whole spectrum ways of how we can do this? Because ultimately, does it really matter how exactly your child's injury heals? Or does it matter that it's healed without side effects, without issues, fast and forever? Well, to me, that is what I realized, is that every dancer at some point is going to have an injury. I mean, it's kind of a fact, whether they're going to have it outside of school or, training, or during the training, or even during their careers later. I mean, it's kind of a given because it is a strenuous sport. And yes, dancing is a serious sport for very serious dancers. And it requires a lot of very specific ways that the body is trained, but it also requires the body to know how to heal. And so, through these various ways of how I have approached healing ever since my daughter was little, I mean, even before she was born, and then when she was born as well, between healing her from some autoimmune issues and other things that have come up, that, there's really, it all comes down to choices. If we only have one option and one option only, more likely we're going to have just one type of outcome with one option. But when you expand your options for healing, you literally expand your healing outcomes to an infinite number of possibilities. So the way that I've used this is not the less is more approach, but literally throwing everything I can at this healing process. So when we're talking about injuries in dancers, we're not really talking about, the necessity of those injuries, but we do have to look at them as really information, feedback that the body is giving the dancer when they're getting injuries during their training, that if they're getting an injury, especially if it's a repeated injury, what exactly is going on with the training in that specific part of the body that is causing the injury to keep on coming back? Has it not healed properly? Did you not have enough time? Are you using the wrong muscles to control that area? So there's just so much that's involved in there. And that's why, again, some holistic approaches are absolutely necessary. And then also some conventional approaches like PT and maybe some imaging that are necessary. So again, we're talking about holistic approach to this, but it also means that we're not eliminating other things that we can do. So I want to challenge another belief that you may have, and it's kind of also even goes against what I even just said about healing. We're just so programmed to think that something external would help us heal, and yet our bodies heal by ourselves. In fact, when we get that cut that we just talked about, we know we're going to heal. We don't sit there or run to the doctor. I mean, unless you're a hypochondriac, you're not going to run to the doctor 24/7 asking, is it healed yet? Is it healed yet? You know it's going to heal. You let it go. You don't mess with it. You don't peel the scab. You leave it, and it heals. So when we have that kind of belief that, well, but then for other things, we have to have a lot of outside help in order for the body to heal, Well, what type of help are we talking about? Are we interfering with the environment, internal and external, that does not allow the body to actually do its job? So, we are talking about holistic healing really as a skill, because really anything, the way we do anything is the way we do everything. So what it comes down to, if you're programmed and your first step is always to do this one particular thing, and every time when there's a health challenge you only follow that one way and one way only, that's kind of a skill and a habit. Or if you learn a skill of holistic approach to health, then you are literally learning the the skill of healing. So let's talk a little bit more about this, because it could get a little bit over the head. So we talk about how holistic health is more is easier and better, and actually is a faster way of healing injuries. And I don't, it's not just my opinion. It is a massive observation, and I've done a lot of research, and I've talked to a lot of parents and a lot of dancers who do suffer from injuries even way after the injury has passed. I mean, years, decades after the injury had passed, and they're still dealing with it. So, would you rather handle it in such a way that you treat it, you heal it completely, and then you move on from it? And how many dancers do you really know who have used only the conventional approach to healing and they're still suffering? Well, I know way too many, and it is probably one of the saddest factors for me to realize. And that's why I wanted to do this webinar for you, so that you cannot become that statistic, so that your child can have a true shot at a healthy dancing future, so that they can learn the holistic healing skills now when the stakes are not as high, and they can practice it when something major, if should it happen, so that they can have the tools and the skills to be able to heal themselves completely, and without all of the harmful effects and consistent follow-up issues after injuries. Okay, so we're talking about holistic healing as though it's kind of like this weird thing that has been, like a new age thing or something like this. Actually, no. Believe it or not, healing in general is a holistic process, whether you like it or not. And, it does involve an entire person to heal inside and out. It requires proper environment, internally and externally. It requires literally a multidimensional approach to healing. So let's talk about one of these dimensions, and that is nutrition. So the type of food that your child eats during the time of healing is very important. And that is because we are creating proper healing environment in the body when we're providing very specific high-level nutrition to the child when they're healing. And so the reason for that is because then we are providing enough of specific types of nutrients that the body is requiring for healing, whatever type of healing that needs to happen, whether it's a fracture or soft tissue injury or anything else that's going on in the body. The healing is only going to happen if the body has enough tools to work with, and those tools come in the form of different nutrients, minerals, and vitamins, and we could achieve that proper environment through better nutrition. Now, I already mentioned, we are going to also talk about supplements. So supplements is something that you can't really necessarily get enough of proper vitamins and minerals from your regular diet or even enhanced nutrition diet. Supplements is something that is important to help the body, kind of like an extra soldier that you send out to help the body to heal. So some of those things, of course, are very proper anti-inflammatories. If the injury involves a bone, then of course helping with the bone healing process, like bone growth or some kind of a bone support, or a soft tissue support type of supplementation. Some extra magnesium or some other kind of nutrients that the body is requiring. Now, this is of course not an inclusive type of process, and you're going to need way more. So another dimension we're talking about is, of course, conventional and basic approaches here. We are talking about immobilization and proper support for specific injuries that the child has. So if there's a fracture, then how do you immobilize the area is very important, of course. But this section, I am leaving it out for the professionals who are licensed to really discuss very specific information with you. And I'm just going to encourage you as a parent to talk to your providers from a dance parent perspective as opposed to just a patient perspective, and get more information when you're talking to your providers about why are they recommending or doing particular therapies and what they're doing with those. Now, like I mentioned before, of course, this is conventional medicine, and they have very particular ways. And then once those ways are done, then we move on to another dimension, and that is perhaps chiropractic care, or acupuncturist or massage therapist could be of even greater help for you and your child to be able to get the injury onto a healing path. And there's a lot of great stuff out there on massage therapy and acupuncture for pain and muscle release. Okay, then we're talking about dimension again, 5001, and that is essential oils. Those are also very beneficial in the process of healing. They're, of course, topical mostly, but some people also take them internally. I don't do that, but we just do the topical. But, that's for muscle relaxation and other things. All right, the crazy one that I had to throw in here, and that is emotion code. Super powerful modality. Majority of people don't know about it, but I think it is definitely worth mentioning because it has been just mind-blowing results that we've received with some of this work, and it's been tremendous. Okay, so last but not least, we've got mindset. And that is probably the most essential of all, because if you come into this process of healing that you're never going to heal, you will always have this injury forever, you are not going to heal, and you will have the injury forever because your body will say as you ask it. So working on the mindset is exceptionally important, and we cannot leave it behind. All right, and one more section I wanted to throw in here, and that is cross-training. So it kind of goes along with the mindset as well, but cross-training really allows your child an opportunity to find out what else they can do beyond the regular training that they have, to expand on their strength and abilities for the training, so that they feel like they're doing something, and at the end of the injury, they feel like they are on their way to be stronger. So basically, I just want to reiterate the fact that there are so many different approaches to healing. I mean, you go on the internet right now, there's probably a million, and I don't think I'm even exaggerating. I mean, between the celery juicing only, and then there's the keto diets, and this diet and that thing and this thing, and these oils, and 10,000 things per second that are flowing at you. And it gets overwhelming. And at the end of the day, you don't even know what is that you're supposed to do, because it seems like everything can kill you and will not help you heal. And then at the same time, you're also in this space where, oh my God, and then there's all of these options for me to actually heal. Well, even if I had a million lifetimes, I wouldn't be able to go through all of those processes all at once, ever. So don't panic. That's why we're talking about some of the basic things. And I've put some of the research and the practice and the trial and error things, although I must say there have been no errors so far. I've put it all together, and other people have used it already, and it has worked for them beautifully. So I am putting it all together for you so that you don't have to keep on searching for hours worrying about what to do when your dancer has an injury. Okay. So if you implement just the basics, you already are sending your kid for success. I mean, that's just the truth. When I've used these methods for my entire family, actually, our healing was way faster and way more definite and complete than when I observed people who did not welcome this kind of information. And to me, I don't care, again, how I end up healing one thing or another for myself and my family, and especially for my daughter. What it matters to me is it safe and is it effective? And that is all that matters to me. A natural process of healing is the safest and most effective way. Now, would I want to help my daughter heal better by using some conventional approaches? Like, for example, she would not have had the proper healing environment had her bone not been set back properly. So if her bone was still like this and I'm trying to heal her, that's not going to help a lot. She needs her bone to be appropriately aligned to be able to use that again, because that particular bone is meant to be in this position, not in this position. Okay. So we're not talking about just throwing all the other knowledge out of the way again, but we are talking about giving, once you put that all together in proper way, then giving your body the best way to get to where you want it to go, right? So, and where you want your dancer's injury to go, you want it to go away. You want it to heal completely. You want them to put that injury behind them completely. So this is what we're talking about here. Many people actually believe that holistic healing is for just super simple injuries. When you have a massive injury, and I've seen that again and again, it's actually even more important to give your body opportunity for holistic healing. And that is all encompassing approach to that healing, because that means your body has to do a lot more to heal so much more. So, like an example I was giving, when my mom broke her leg, it was a very massive injury. And there was a lot that had to be involved in her recovering properly from that type of an injury. And it took her longer, and it took a lot more effort, and it took more modalities to help her actually stabilize and help her knee feel like it's healing properly without the side effects that we kept reading about online. Oh my God. And then people's leg does this and all of these issues. And we thought, that doesn't have to happen. Just because somebody's giving you one type of prognosis, they are not God or the universe's voice. They're one person opinion that is based on their personal information that they've read, that they've seen, and what they've seen in their clinic of certain types of patients who they tend to see all the time. Now, do you match that kind of description of that specific person who is willing to only see this one person's opinion as the way that you're going to lead your life? Or are you going to expand that out and you're going to say, okay, that's one person's opinion. That's why they always tell you. I mean, come on, even for plumbing, we're supposed to go and get at least 2 or 3 opinions on how to fix something. But when it comes to medical care, how come we only go to one? And, we're all humans. And I love my doctor friends, and they all mean exceptionally well. Of course, they all mean well. Besides taking the oath, I mean, I honestly don't even know any physician who did not get into medicine because they wanted to be a healer. I mean, that's the nature of the profession. However, we can only do as much as we know. And so physicians, I mean, I've been there. I've sat in the classrooms wondering, why not am I getting information about this, this, and this, and that? And the common answer in medical school is, well, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Here's something. Well, I don't know. Well, but you can give this. So when I have enough of those kinds of answers, then I start looking outside of that box because the information is out there. And to me, if it makes sense, it is safe, and it helps my child, I have absolute right and responsibility at that point to try and use that to help her heal. So less is not more in this situation, especially if it's a big issue. So getting as much information as possible, using as many holistic approaches as you can, is going to be the best maximizing effect for what outcome you want. And I am pretty sure, again, the outcome you want is complete and fast recovery so that your dancers can go back to training as soon as they can. Because I know once a dancer, they cannot stop dancing. So let me tell you this fact is that holistic healing and parenting, holistic healing really works. And we can ignore it. You don't have to do this, but we have to understand that holistic healing is just another choice, right? So it's not something like I'm giving this webinar and I'm telling you to go and do this. Absolutely not. What I'm telling you here is that holistic healing is a choice that I believe every parent, especially every parent of a dancer, of a pre-professional and professional dancer, should know and learn about so that you can actually help your child heal in such a way that maximizes their ability to heal completely so that they can share their gift with the world. Because arts are so important. I mean, yes, I know STEM and all of that science, all that engineering, yes, it's all great. And the shortage of arts, we still want to see beautiful performances. We want to see the light and the life that these dancers show when they're dancing. So why don't we give them all the tools we possibly can in order for them to actually do what they're meant to be doing in this lifetime? And who cares if we got them there by using a set of 20 different modalities that included energy medicine and essential oils, or if we stuck with our belief and just said, oh no, none of that works, even though it does work for anybody who is willing to try it, and we only stick with one thing and then we blame everybody else around. No, it doesn't serve our dancers. It only serves us and our limiting beliefs in how the world really works. And it's time for us as parents to step outside of that box and start learning and trusting not just ourselves, but which is essential here, to know when to take on to the next level. Because let's face it, sometimes certain approaches, not sometimes, all the time, every approach has its limitations. Just like essential oils have their limitations, so does conventional medicine. And when we put all of these things together, you are able to throw at your dancer everything you can to maximize their chances. Thank you for coming to this webinar, and I really hope that this has given you some ideas on how to start approaching your child's injuries. And I know I didn't give you a lot of specifics because there's just a lot to talk about, because like I said, there are literally thousands and millions and infinite number of possibilities of what we can do in the healing process for the child's injury. So what I've done is I've just given you some basics, because without those, you can't really just dive in and start using the modalities. You really need to understand why and how that all works, so that you don't get discouraged by just using one thing and then saying, oh, well, none of that works. Okay. So I wanted to set this stage up for you so that you can understand where you stand as a dance parent, and the the rights and the responsibilities that you have for your child's healing. Okay, so to take you to the next step now, I have put together a resource that I am so excited to share. This resource has helped other parents already, besides my own family, to heal their injuries pretty quickly and definitely without any side effects or any issues. So I want you to have this choice, and you're welcome to take it to your physicians and run it by them, of course, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you comfortable. Or if you look at it and you say, I don't believe in this stuff, I don't want it. And you know what? That's the point, is that if you have already made a decision upon something, decisions are extremely powerful. Once you make a decision about something, this is it. That is the choice that you have chosen to take. And if that is the choice you're making, all power to you. And then for the other people who want to make other choices and expand their way of looking at how they can help their children heal faster and naturally, then this could be a fantastic starting point for you, because it will give you very specific tools in how to approach injuries. And it doesn't matter what kind of injury you have. I mean, once you've gone to your physicians, to the ER or urgent care, whatever you go for the initial, understanding of what's going on, the healing process is in this basic foundation. So if you just do these ones, I know it's going to be successful, because the basics are the ones that have helped other parents and my family, including. So that's why I've included all of those basics there. So if you are tired of all of the conventional medicine run around, or other people telling you all these things and things to do, things not to do, and you just want a very simple and effective and proven way of helping your dancer heal faster and easier and naturally, well, then I think this resource is going to be for you. I've included a lot of information there, but concise. And it's also going to have some essential bonuses that will probably blow your mind, because even with a lot of background and practice and education that I've had, I was still just mind blown by the effects of this one thing that I'm also giving you in that bonus. And you may think that, oh, it's going to be yet another one of those things where people are talking about all of these holistic or organic approaches, and then it's going to cost me an arm and a leg. No, the best healing things that I'm talking about in this resource that I'm about to offer you, they're actually free. So, no, you don't have to sell your house in order for you to help your dancer heal. That's just it. You don't even have to, take on another job to have to do that, which some parents had to do that for some of their dancers' injuries. And that is a very, very sad realization, that hopefully some of this basic information can help you avoid that. Okay. And so the last thing is that I did make this product, this resource, kind of a no brainer affordable, because I really, really am passionate about this information. And I really want you to have access to it, no matter how much or how little money you have. So, because everybody deserves to have this, to know this information is a no brainer price. Check this resource out and invite other parents to come and listen in to this webinar, and to start opening our mind to really a better way of how we can help our dancers learn the skill of holistic healing, so that they can set themselves up for not just a complete recovery of injuries now, but to potentially even save and enhance and lengthen their dancing careers in the future. So thank you for joining me, and I can't wait to see your dancers on stage living and breathing dance as they were meant to do in this lifetime. So thank you again for joining me, and click on that button to get your resource today. Don't waste any more time, because time is not your friend when it comes to healing. So get on that today.